my podcast family? Welcome back to another episode of the Knowing is Knowing podcast. I'm your host, Rashad Young, and as always, I appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite audio platform, or also subscribe to it on the YouTube channel. Either way, I greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate you all embarking this journey with me, and we're going to continue to keep this mug rolling. This is episode 4, 5, 6, I don't know at this point. It's a new episode. Super excited to share this episode with you all. Continuing the series, 5 things I've learned about my 20s, or whatever I titled it weeks ago. It's all the same to me. But, I want to make this short and sweet because I feel like it's just very important. It's just very understanding that we just get it straight to the point, man. It's no point of, creating something long-winded or trying to find new ways to kind of reinvent the wheel. And that's on the concept of timing. Over the past couple of days, over the past couple of weeks, I've been reflecting on this concept, and it's just something that's really true. There is no right time. There isn't a right time to do anything. The time is right now. Now I can get into some motivational spiel about why you should do something today and become ultra successful, but that's not realistic, right? It is taking the time to be aware and having the accountability to understand what is it that you're trying to achieve right now that is going to make you successful or make you happier or make your relationship more fulfilling or whatever it is that you're looking for in your life that's important to you. Whatever it is, you start on it right now. But it starts with self-awareness. It starts with accountability. It starts with the understanding that you can change something today. Will it change it its entirety? Absolutely not. But it's taking the step in the right direction. One thing that I've really realized that's important for us is that we have to quit finding excuses on why we don't want to do something right now. A lot of us will spend time with these things such as manifesting or praying or really trying to dive into our desires. And it's natural for us to want things right now because of the instant gratification world we live into. But also, a lot of us feel like we're deserving of those new things. The only caveat I always say is that when we get those things, are we truly going to be prepared for them? And 9 times out of 10, no. We can say we want a more healthy, more fulfilling relationship. We find somebody that's more healthy, provide those things that we're looking for, and we can shy away and self-sabotage. We can say that we want to start a new diet, and we go into the first 2 weeks feeling inspired and motivating, and then something happens, and we crash into this course of going back to our old ways. Change is tough. I will not sit here and say that it will happen overnight, but there is no better time than now. One of the biggest things that I've discovered and I've learned over the past couple of weeks is that if you plan more than actually taking the action, you're actually going to succeed in planning more than the action. Now, I could have just said you're going to sit around and fail, right? But I don't feel like that's looking at it as a bad thing. Failing isn't a bad thing, but instead of sitting around focusing on creating a plan, we need to create the action while we're making a plan. Sometimes you just got to go with things solely of blind faith and taking that big risk and taking that big leap. Sometimes it's getting into that relationship when you meet the person that has all those green flags that you're looking for and having the awareness of saying, hey, I don't have all the things that I need to make myself as best and presentable at this moment, but I'm willing to give it a try, because we can miss out on some great people out here. We can miss out on some great opportunities, not feeling prepared enough when it comes to the timing aspect of our life. And that's just not realistic. There is never a right time. You can have all the things you desire, how you want it shaped out, and you can have all the time to work on yourself and heal, but you meet people, you see things, you experience things as you are. Now, it's twofold, right? You can decline any opportunity that comes in front of you because you don't feel like it's the right time, but you have to keep in mind you're taking a risk and understanding that this opportunity may not happen the same way. So you can have things gift boxed to you in a certain way that you've been wanting it for a long time and pass up on it. That's totally okay. But it may never come back the same way. And so the older you get, you may be like, oh man, that was my opportunity. Don't live your life like that. I feel like a lot of people will feel more better about themselves taking that chance on something, whether they were unsure or not, and failing better than being too prepared and still not be able to succeed and achieve the things that they're looking for. And that's just something that we all have to understand. Every decision we make has a chain reaction to it. It can either go good in our eyes or it can go bad. But the goal is just to take that step, to take that risk, and to make sure that we understand that we can achieve these things no matter if we're fully prepared or not. Over the past couple of years of my life, I've been in therapy, something I'm very proud to say. Definitely a lot of big growth. Shout out to my therapist, by the way. And it was something that I kind of learned when it comes to making decisions in my life or also reverting back to old things that I don't want to do again is that, we can sit around and wait for that person to come into our life and to change ourselves, I should say. And, we often say like, I will change who I am when this right opportunity happens, or I will work harder if I receive more money at this time. But there's a truth is that would you actually work harder if you receive more money at a different place, or is it the habits you already have ingrained in you, and money is not going to influence it? It will motivate you for that short moment of time, but just because we are habitual as human species, the reality is that most of us will go back to the old things. It roughly takes 21 days up to 2 months to fully establish a habit and to consistently do it. And to be consistent with anything is already difficult as it is. But also, it goes back to the concept of timing. There's never a right time to do anything as far as consistency. To be consistent, you need to start now. If your goal is to make 6 figures or get out the job that you're in that you hate, you need to start applying now, not when your job gets worse and you don't like and you can't stand it and you're ready to quit. If you're trying to get better as a future partner or a future wife or a future husband, the goal isn't to necessarily date somebody today, but it's to have that self-awareness and like, hey, look, these are the things that I've experienced. These are the things I've struggled with. These are the things that I don't want to accept in a relationship. These are the things I do want to accept in a relationship. And as you meet people along the way, be mindful that that person may have all those check boxes, but you still may have this other check box over here that you're still working with. But like, look, I'm willing to take the risk. I'm self-aware, understanding that this is a walk in progress, but I do it. Because there isn't a right time to do anything. You just go with it. You take anything that comes with it and you find a way to be better, because timing is what it is. We have 24 hours in a day. We have to make the most of it. We have to do whatever we can to be successful in our own way, in our own right. And that's really it. So however you're feeling today, again, feelings are important. It's important to be accountable, to be aware, and to better understand ourselves. But also it's important to know, like, hey, man, today is the day that I change something. Today is the day that I become the best version of myself. Whatever that looks like, it can be 1%. It can do something, one extra rep, one extra layer, one extra call, one extra text, one extra hug, whatever it is, just do one extra of it. To be successful doesn't require a lot. It's roughly 18 minutes of doing something every day and making the best out of it. And I think that's the other thing is too, is this fear of being out of place, not accepting what it means to be an outlier, not wanting to be comfortable, or wanting to be uncomfortable, I should say, and not looking stupid. I think that's our biggest fear when it comes to timing, is the fear of looking stupid. And that's not how we should live life. We're not going to always, as I've said before, we're not going to always do things the right way. We're not going to always say things the right way, because that's just life. That is within our human nature as people to really expand upon and be better. But the time is now. So don't sit around and wait. Do what you got to do today, because if you don't, you might sit in regret, and nobody wants to live like that. But as always, make sure subscribe to the pod on your favorite audio platform. I appreciate you always. Make sure to subscribe to me on YouTube. Check me out on Threads. I am on Threads right now. Love Threads. Think Threads is the best app in the world. And